Be an unoffendable person. Be an unoffendable person. In society today, this isn't happening. Society right now is training people towards weakness, not towards strength. Everybody is told, hey, be hyper aware of anything that is done wrong to you. Be super sensitive. You just be hunting out for offense, and you find it, and you become a victim. And we think somehow, I want to correct this, we think that to be a very loving person means you're tenderhearted, which means you're weak, not strong. But that's not the case. Jesus was not a weak person. He was a strong person. And Jesus embodied love. Love didn't make Jesus weak, it made him strong. The more we become like Jesus and take on his love, the stronger we become. We are not ones who are relationally fragile. As we become more embodied by love, we become relationally resilient. Strong. Now, Jesus was more offended than you have ever been. He was offended and abused to the point of death. He was way more offended than you'll ever experience. And what we see in the gospel accounts is time after time after time after time that the people were offending Jesus and throwing insults into him, even physically hurting him. And Jesus, at each one of those moments, would go, I can't believe you. How dare you, sir? I mean, did Jesus act out in weakness? He wasn't walking around, Peter, James, John, come in. I can't believe those guys. I mean, what? What do you think Jesus did? Jesus was unoffendable. Why? Because he embodied love, and love makes you relationally resilient. He was so strong that while they had him on the cross, betrayed and ready to kill him, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He wasn't concerned with trying to defend himself or fight back. He was concerned for the people who were offending him with compassion in his heart. Our whole society right now doesn't know how to behave. Our world is getting darker. People's behavior relationally is getting more dysfunctional, not healthier. See, in the Christian community, we have cornered the market on relational health. Look to the person of Jesus. He is the most relationally healthy person that has ever walked on the planet. And if we are following in the way of Jesus, not only do we become more effective, but we become people who are more relationally healthy. We know how to deal with issues and conflict. We know how to not give up on relationships. Like, we get it. And if the church would rise up in love and unify, we would become a shining light to a world that's lost in chaos. So, let's get into it. You guys, we good? So, just some quick steps on how to become an unoffendable person. How do we do this? How do we become an unoffendable person? Number one, understand that every person is working out immaturity in their own life. Who is immature in this room? Everybody. Look around this room. We're all immature, including me. All of us have immaturity. And at times, that immaturity is coming out of us. Yeah, we're on progression growth. We're more mature than we were a couple days ago. Hopefully we're growing. And the more we mature, the less that dysfunction is coming out of us. But guess what? We still have immaturity in our lives, so it comes out. So, when we're a community that's engaging in meaningful connection with each other, real relationship, and we do life together, and we grow in meaningful friendship, guess what happens? That immaturity comes out. Like, Like, this is what happens. Like in marriages, like someone's getting married and they're saying their vows to each other, and like every married couple knows what they're in for. Like, oh yeah, this is so great, amazing. Just you wait. All right? Two married people are gonna do life super close, live together, and they're gonna get in arguments. Their selfishness is gonna fight against each other's selfishness. And this is what Christian community is like. Scripture teaches us that no one has arrived. We're all on a journey. Some of us, are further along than others, but we're all on a journey, and there's all immaturity in our lives. So nobody sit here with pride going, oh, I have it all together. Can't believe you guys. It's ridiculous. So listen, when you engage in relationships, don't go with this false expectation. Don't put anybody on a pedestal. Don't expect someone to have godlike qualities. There's nobody that you could trust other than Jesus. If you want someone that has godlike qualities, go to Jesus. But don't look to your friends to be perfectly behaved. Number 2, how do we become an unoffendable person? Number 2, choose to love and forgive others before they display their immaturity. Like if you know they're going to be immature at some point, that's what you're getting into. You're in the relationship. You're like, I'm committed to you. We're part of the same church, same community group. We're going to do this thing. And just know, hey, the person I just decided to be friends with is immature in some way. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's there. And I choose to love them and forgive them even before I see it. Don't be surprised. Oh, I can't believe you. Come on. And we have to be compassionate with people. Like, so many people's dysfunction and unhealth comes from just a bad history. Gone through some things. You don't know what they've gone through. You don't know their story. You don't know how they grew up, like their childhood, the dysfunction in their own home, or the abuse that they've gone under. I mean, you just don't know their story. So have compassion on them. Ian McLaren, a Scottish preacher, says this: be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Just determine, hey, like, I don't know your story, but I'm going to choose to love you. 3, how do we become an unoffendable person? When a person hurts or offends you, choose not to react. Choose not to react. So if someone offends you and they're acting in immaturity, don't fight their immaturity with immaturity. That's not going to help anything. It's like 2 toddlers, right? It's like, why did you bite your brother? Because he pulled my hair. Why did you pull his hair? Because he called me a fathead. Why'd you call him a fathead? Because he called me stupid. Why'd you call him stupid? Because he made fun of my drawing. It's like this little offense escalates further and further till all of a sudden we start biting people. And we make fun of toddlers doing this, but adults do this too. Don't fight immaturity with immaturity. Don't contribute to the dysfunction. Like, behave in a mature way. Number 4, how do we become an unoffendable person? Is we choose to walk in humility. James says, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. If you are in a conflict with somebody, you're hashing it out, and they're like, man, you did this, and you did this, and you're just a horrible person. You did this, and you did this. I mean, have the humility to sit there and listen. And all the things that they're saying probably aren't going to be true, but what is true, own. Have the humility to own. Say, actually, there's some things that you said, I can't get behind, I don't think are accurate. But when you said this thing, you're actually right. And I did do that. And I apologize. It was wrong. will you forgive me? I mean, it's as simple as that. Walk in humility. Don't be prideful. Number 5, how do we choose to be unoffendable? Get more concerned for the person's growth and well-being than you are about defending yourself. Like if you're going to embody love, you stop thinking about yourself and you start thinking about others. And if someone is in a conflict with you and they're hurt, offended, and they're acting out in hurtful and immature ways, like be more concerned about them. Like be strong enough to stand and take the hits that are coming your way and be willing to love them and serve them. Just say, hey, like do whatever you can to help them. Make it easy for them to reconcile with you. Don't make it extra difficult to reconcile with you. Like if we're going to fight for why would we make it more difficult to allow reconciliation to take place? Make it easy. Make it as easy as possible with that person because you love them to have reconciliation take place. Not only reconciliation between the two of you, reconciliation with them and God, because most likely if they're acting on immaturity, they're sinning. They're behaving in a way that's contrary to what God requires of them. Serve them. 6, move on. If you hash it out, the relationship seems to be reconciled, move on. Free from bitterness. Don't rehearse it. Don't let bitterness take a root. Here's what you're agreeing to when you forgive someone. This is the commitment of any person that forgives. When you forgive, you are committing not to bring it up again to them. My parents in the room, don't ever do this to your kids. This is just dysfunctional. This is damaging to your kids. If your kid does something wrong, you hash it out. They say they're sorry. They ask for forgiveness, and you forgive them. Do not bring it up 2 days later. Like part of your commitment to forgiving is a commitment not to bring it up to them again. It's also a commitment not to bring it up to others. So you can't forgive somebody. Hey, man, don't worry about it. It's all right, brother. And you go, hey, guys, just to let you know, that guy, he did this to me. Just want you to know. I forgave him, but, watch out for him. To forgive somebody is a commitment to not bring it up to them, to not bring it up to the others, and to not bring it up to yourself. Say, and keep on rehearsing and let bitterness take root in your life. 7, how do we become an undefendable person? We don't put up with a person's dysfunction. Like in the middle of a conflict, if someone's acting immature and they're ugly and hurtful, like we have to stand our ground for what is true. So people in an immature state will resort to all kinds of tactics to get us to submit to them, to their will. We're not submitting to their will. We love them, but we're not submitting to their will. We're submitting to Jesus' will. And so we're going to love them, but we're going to hold to the truth. It's truth and love. And we're not going to get manipulated, and we're not going to be controlled, and we're not going to submit to their dysfunction. Like we have to be able to stand our ground. This is part of the strength of love. People say, well, you're not loving me. Yes, I am loving you. I'm just not participating in your dysfunction. Number 8, we never give up on a person. Number 8, we never give up on a person. If you tried everything you can to pursue reconciliation with somebody and it hasn't happened for whatever reason, you've done everything humanly possible to reconcile with this person and it hasn't happened, don't allow the relationship to die. Some of you might say this, hey, if you betray me, you're dead to me. Anybody in the room? I mean, I've heard a lot of people say this. Hey, don't cross me. You should be dead to me. That is not a value of Jesus. See, as followers of Jesus, we never give up on a relationship. Never. See, there's been people that have left this church. By God's grace, this church is relationally healthy. Why? Because these principles that we're teaching now, we've taught since the beginning of the church, and God's grace has been on us, the church, and relationally, we're healthy as a church. We're healthy right now. There's no big problems, no divisions, nothing. And so that's just God's grace and following God's pattern. There's been people that have left the church for one reason or another. We've done everything that we can to reconcile relationship, and they've cut off, severed ties. And even when that happens, you guys, we do not have the right to think that the relationship is dead. When we see them in the store 3 months from now, it's not like we avoid them or give them the stink eye. It's like, ooh, I know what you did. No. Love and warmth and compassion. Say, hey, man, it's so good to see you. How you doing? We fight for the relationship. We don't give up on the relationship.